Hernan Cortes was a Spanish explorer born in 1485 in Medellin, Spain. He was a famous conquistador, known for his cruelty and love of fame and fortune. As we will learn in this video, he is most famous for exploring Mexico and conquering the Aztec Empire. He was also a devout Catholic who wanted the Aztec people to convert. Before Cortes went exploring, he helped Diego Velázquez conquer Cuba for Spain. By doing this, Cortes developed a reputation for being courageous and daring. It also gained him favor with the Spanish court and Velázquez. Cortes persuaded Velázquez to make him commander of the expedition to Mexico. However, Velázquez became suspicious that Cortes only wanted fame and fortune and canceled his commission. Cortes did not care and set sail from Mexico anyway. He landed and created the settlement of Veracruz. After creating Veracruz, Cortes began conquering the indigenous people groups. After defeating one such group, he was given 20 slaves. Among these slaves was Malenke, also known as Dona Marina. She would become Cortes' trusted translator who would help him conquer the Aztecs. During Cortes' battles with the natives, he encountered several different Indian weapons. First, there was the macajito, which was the Aztec version of a sword. Next, there was the traditional bow and arrow, and lastly, the atl. This is a spear with a handle that allowed the Aztecs to pierce the Spanish armor. Next is the Spanish weaponry. The conquistadors had a lance, which is a spear used while on a horse, and muskets that frightened the Aztecs into thinking the Spanish could create thunder. After conquering some local natives, Cortes had learned of a great city the Indians called Tenochtitlan. After traveling for 3 months, Cortes finally arrived at the legendary city and discovered its great wealth. He was introduced to the emperor Montezuma II. Montezuma believed that Cortes and his soldiers were messengers sent by the god Quetzalcoatl, and so welcomed them to Tenochtitlan, showering them with gold and other gifts. However, Cortes' legendary greed got the better of him, and he took Montezuma captive, demanding a huge ransom from the Aztecs. By taking Montezuma captive, Cortes also took control of the city, and riots ensued. Unfortunately, Cortes had much bigger things to worry about. Angered by Cortes' disobedience, Velázquez sent an expedition after him to capture him and face consequences in Spain. Cortes, learning of their approach, left the city and fought off Velázquez's men. Unfortunately, in Cortes' absence, the city had been overrun by the Aztecs. In the fight, Montezuma was killed. Historians are unsure how Montezuma was killed, as the Aztecs say the Spanish did it, while the Spanish say the Aztecs did it. Cortes was temporarily forced from the city, but he returned in 1521 and conquered it. Mexico was renamed New Spain, and Cortes was appointed as governor. Cortes was a cruel and terrible ruler. He persecuted the Aztecs and tried to force them to convert to Catholicism. Afraid that Cortes was growing too powerful, the king forced him to return to Spain and stripped him of his governorship. Cortes went back to Mexico for a while and discovered California, but eventually returned to Spain and tried to obtain wealth and fame from his escapades. Unfortunately, he could not and died in 1547.